Hi, and thanks for joining me today. And today I'm documenting some photos of our annual family holiday trip to the island of Herm in the Channel Islands last year. Again, I'm using my market square from Maggie Holmes, and I've pulled out the yellows and blacks for this layout. I'm really enjoying just pulling out certain colour combos from this collection to get it used up. So I've chosen 3 photos. This trip was really poignant because we'd had to cancel for 2 years on the trot, one because of obviously the pandemic, and then the second time because the funny rules where the children had to be double vaccinated, but they were too young to get a double vaccine in the UK. So we had to wait until 2022 to go back, and it was a lovely, lovely holiday. So I really wanted to document every aspect. So this is us, as I say, at the airport. The picture at the top is my husband and my dad. And then the one below is mum, this one that I'm doing now, mum with the 2 kids. So I'm just choosing some papers to layer up. I've chosen a green piece there to go behind that picture of James, Amelia and mum, because James has got his green top on. So bringing a little bit of green in works there. And then just using the scraps really that I've got left to layer things up. You can see I've cut a big mat of the yellow chevron paper as the photo mat, I suppose, to go behind these 2 on the left. And then there's a photo that will go on the right of me and Ross, just sitting in the waiting area. Our neighbour is a taxi driver and he took us up there, but he was concerned that because of the strikes and the shortage of staff at the airports, it would be a problem getting through security. So he wanted to get us up there nice and early in time for our flight. So we had a lot of sitting around. In fact, nothing was open when we got there. So we went and had a coffee at Costa while we waited. But it was just good to be at the airport and know we were on our way. So that was fine. So as you can see, continuing to layer and mat all these photos, using a bit of navy here because Dad and Ross have got navy clothes on, so just trying to pull in some of the colours that are in the photos. I never let that worry me too much because I think so long as the papers that you're using all match nicely, the photos don't really clash. They normally sit very nicely on the layout. So just layering up, and again you can see another green piece there, just to bring the green around the page. Once I've started using one colour somewhere, I try and use it everywhere. So I will bring it into the mat on the photo of Ross and I as well. So nearly done with these photo mats now. I just keep layering and adding and checking how I like the look of it and seeing if I need to bring any of the other colours in. When I've got this dotty piece down, I do want to bring in some of the black and white as well, because I've got that on the bottom photo. So here we go. And this is the last piece that I add to this photo mat, I think. And it doesn't matter if there are chunks cut out, because if it's going behind the rest of the photo mat, you don't need a full piece of paper. Just use what you have and see if it works. And you can see I'm keeping all those little bits and pieces because if you've watched me before, you'll know I do use the tiniest scraps on my layouts. They all add something. So until the collection's used up, I tend to keep hold of everything. And you'll have seen I've been using this collection an awful lot, and I had a quick look this morning before doing this voiceover, and there's still plenty left. So there will be at least 1 or 2 more layouts from me using Market Square. But I've thoroughly enjoyed trying to get through this collection because it's an older one now and all the new ones are coming into the shop, and I want to treat myself, but I'm on quite a strict 1 in 1 out policy when it comes to collections because I've only got a very small scrapping space. I'm hoping to show that to you soon. And you can see the space that I work in and where I keep all my products. So just distressing the one edge of this paper, and that's the edge that's going to sit on top of this black and white paper. So I just wanted to give a bit of definition between the 2. So adding that distress edge gives a bit of height to the paper as well, so a bit of texture, as well as providing that nice white edge. So you can see I've trimmed off the excess from that black and white paper, and I've actually kept the torn piece that I'd used on a previous layout, but I thought that worked quite nicely because it curves around at the top, so it sort of drags your eye down to the 3rd photo on the right hand side of the layout. So I didn't mess about with that piece at all, other than trimming off the excess at the back. So just working out where these 2 photos are going to go. And then I decide that I don't really want the yellow butted right up against the left-hand side of the layout. So I wanted to create some kind of border down the left-hand side. So I grabbed my darkroom door stamp, the grid stamp, and using my archival ink, just going down the page to create a little bit of a border. And there'll just be about 1 centimetre or less of that showing, but it really does change the appearance of the layout, and I was very happy with that. So just bringing that back and putting it into place, and then I can start working on the right-hand side of the layout. So I won't actually glue that down yet. So bringing the photo in now on the right-hand side, and I can start doing exactly the same here, building up the layers and the mat. And I have this strip of this, is like I don't want to say yellow because it's not quite yellow, but anyway, it works nicely with pink dots on. So I want to use that as the anchor on the right-hand side. And I'm using this black and white paper underneath it just to provide a really nice mat for that photo. So I want the black and white to be peeping out of the right-hand side of that strip. So now coming in with some mats. So again, using that green paper, just to bring the green, like I said, into the right-hand side as well, because I've got that on the other two photos. So using some tissue paper to add underneath my photo, just to provide a different texture. And it's ridiculous that I'm using those tiny scissors. I had some bigger scissors that you will have seen in previous videos, and I think I've used them for another project. I'm doing a hexagon quilt on the sofa in the evenings, and quite possibly it's in the lounge. So I really need to retrieve those. And the other ones, goodness knows where I've put them. I come to my craft desk and grab my scissors and then forget to put them back again. So just creating this mat here. I want to bring a bit more. That was a bit too long, so just trimming a bit off. So gluing that down. And then I want to bring in some of the black and white paper again. First of all, just straightening up that edge on there, and then I can start sticking this down because then I can see exactly what else it needs. So butting them right up to the edge of the 12 by 12 paper, distressing the edge of this dotty paper, and then I'll glue that just slightly in from the edge so that you see the black and white poking through, just like that. And here we go, there's the black and white that I wanted to bring in. So just gluing that down, and then once I do that I realise that really I do want to distress all the edges of the photos, so I'm just going to do that. I won't make you watch it, but I just have to pull them up a little bit to distress all the edges. So now I'm ready to glue down the main bits of the layout so that I can embellish. So adding this huge mat of paper to the left, making sure that that stamping is still showing. And then I can bring the photos in. Of course, using my Stix 225mm foam pads. These are absolutely fantastic for raising your photos. They're double-sided. They've got an overhang on the peel-off paper, so really easy to take off, as you can see. I'm popping that down. I'm just checking how I want this bottom photo. I wasn't quite sure exactly where I wanted it positioned, but I get there in the end. So same again here with the foam pads to raise it up and give it prominence on the layout. And then I'll pop that down underneath the top photo, but slightly to the right. And it'll give me some room to embellish on the left-hand side there. So now the same with this photo on the right-hand side. Just checking the placement because I wasn't quite sure. So I want to get my title down first before adding the photo. And my title is going to be Holiday Ready. And I'm using these beautiful gold puffy stickers from Ellie's Studio. I absolutely adore her puffy stickers. They're just the right size. And they're beautiful when they're on. So there we go, that worked just perfectly. And I'm pleased that I didn't stick the photo down till afterwards, just so that I could nestle it neatly next to that title there. Using my T-square ruler just to get it straight. And this heart is from an old 6 by 12 chipboard sticker sheet from Dear Lizzie, and now I'm bringing in the Sweet Rush sticker sheet from Vicky Bootin and using some of these. I'm trying to use some of the older collections that I don't have as collections anymore on my layouts just to get them used, and this works really nicely. So I've used that tag down the left hand side of that photo that says sweet, and then a little note to self underneath the photo of Ross and I that says enjoy the moment, take photos and pack sunscreen. So that's perfect. And then this one saying hey vacay, again really fitting for these photos. A little arrow and then a word phrase that just says yay on this heart, and I'm just trimming off the edge that didn't need to be there. So it's lovely to have used up some of my older stash that just sits there once it's not in collections anymore. So I'm trying to remember to reach for that where I can. Now coming in with some wax twine and just tying it round just to add a bit more texture to this side of the layout. We sell this at Hey Little Magpie now on beautiful wooden spools that James cuts on his laser cutter. So just tying that in a knot on the left hand side, I just went round a couple of times and then tied it in a knot, and I really like the different texture that brings to the layout. So now coming in with my pre-stamped label stamps from Ellie's Studio and just finding some that might work, and this one has been stamped in bundled sage and that works beautifully with these colours. So just tucking that in underneath that note to self sticker, and it's building up that section really nicely. Just adding some glue to the sticker because already the adhesive started to fail. And now just messing with another pre-stamped tag from Ellie's Studio Stamps, again in that green. So adding that to the top and then adding a little bit of twine. I'm just going to tie that in a bow. So again, it's bringing that twine, I've got it on the left hand side of the page, so bringing it up to the right as well. And it's a lovely neutral colour, that one. Just trimming off the tails. And now I'm bringing in some wood pieces from JD 3D Print. This is one of the Love Arrow set, and I really like that for adding some definition to a layout. And then some of the mini chevrons, which I adore. You'll have seen me using these plenty of times on layouts. They're just a nice finishing touch. And one of his arrows, the circle arrows. So just getting everything stuck down. These chevrons can be a bit fiddly, but using wet glue is great because you have the time to move them around and check they're in the right position. And see how that just adds so much to the bottom of that photo. I really do love those. So again, coming in with another one of these pre-stamped labels. And add that to that top corner. And now I'm going to come in with my journaling. Just using a pencil to create the guidelines. And it says, Barry dropped us off ridiculously early at Manchester Airport. Staff shortages after COVID have been causing huge delays at check-in and through security. Better safe than sorrow. In actual fact, we sailed through. So now continuing to embellish, and I've pulled out the sticker sheet from Market Square. So the sticker book. So just going through to see what I can find. And there's that lovely green label on the left-hand side by Dad and Ross's photo, and then a little ticket that went at the top of the photo of me and Ross, and a little, it's like a dime sticker. It's a transparent sticker with the number 50 on, but it's just adding a bit of something. And then I love this craft tag, but it's a bit too deep to fit under there, so I think I'll cut it in half and then I can use it in a couple of places. Oh no, sorry, that one does go under. It's not that one, it was another one that I trim apart. I think it's this one. Yeah, I tried to put it there and then decide actually I can cut it in half and add half to the original position that I was going to put it in on the bottom photo next to Mum. so it's again just building up these layers around the photos. And finally adding some Heidi Swap Gold Colour Shine, some gold splatters, will finish off the layout. So thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you've enjoyed this. Excuse my voice, I've had a cold and I'm still trying to recover from it. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please do like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy watching my videos. I upload every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday, and I shall see you very soon for the next one. Thank you so much. Bye.